Hey, welcome back, everybody. Can't wait to get into this Integrative Health Coach Success podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board certified doctor of naturopathy, founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, where we do the most fun in the world, and that is get to really coach the next generation of amazing integrative health practitioners, certified health coaches to go out there and serve the world. That is what it's all about. And this podcast is here to help all health practitioners to create a better career for themselves, right? So help more people, be rewarded, amazing work, right? That's really what it's all about. It's the best job in the world, working in health and wellness and fitness. So hopefully this podcast helps to move you in that more successful direction. And to let you know, we will now, the Reimagine Health Summit, which has always been all about amazing longevity and like the future of health, that happens every October. Believe it or not, this year, it is going to be 2/3 business and career building because that is what you asked for. So it's a practitioners only event. I can't talk too much more about it, but stay tuned for coming weeks. We will be debuting the early bird pricing for that. Again, it is a practitioner only event this year, maximum of 350 tickets. 400 people were there last year. So 350 is less than that 400 because of the venue we selected. We are taking over the whole hotel. It's right on the beach. Amazing. So it's going to just be our community, practitioners, by practitioners, for practitioners. I don't know any other health coaching certification in the world that does that, and I'm super excited. All right, so let's get into today's show, though, because today is going to be how to land your perfect job in a wellness center. So many people want to create their own career, and I love that. They want to create their own business. I love that. So here's what I want you to think about. There's going to be a period of time where you are learning and growing, right? So during that time, you're probably posting on social media, building up a following, doing your discovery calls, all of those great things. But there is no harm in also working for a wellness center or doctor or nurse practitioner or someone else in order to learn the ropes, understand what you like and what you don't like in a practice, and really begin to help a lot of people. And some people always want to work in that position. The reason is that you don't need to find your own clients a lot of the time. You also don't need to worry about paying rent. You don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z, right? So there can be a lot of pros to working for an organization rather than having to run your own. It's something to think about. My goal is not to tell integrative health practitioners how to practice, but instead help them serve and help more people. And one of those ways is exactly how I started out. So as many of you know, I was working independently, believe it or not, in college, working with just a few clients while in undergrad in the 90s as a nutritionist and personal trainer. Loved it. Okay. Graduated, had this degree. I had basically a double major coming out of college. Here's the thing. Tried it for 6 months, didn't like it. Always was doing nutrition, personal training. And I said, I know I went to school. I did all these great things. Like, I shouldn't say all these great things. I studied. I did what I was supposed to do, got grades and graduated, right? Like, that's what it was about. But my passion was figuring out how to get well myself and also helping others. Like, I loved working with people. That's what I want to do. And I also didn't like sitting in a cubicle. And so I tasted that, knew I didn't like it, wanted to help more people. So continued to working on getting certifications. So I had one nutrition, I had one personal training, I got a second personal training, and then I got my strength and conditioning through NSCA. So I had NASM, I had ACE, I had NSCA, and I had the CSCS. And then I became an ACSM member later down the road. But what was important was that I actually got hired at 22 at this beautiful big gym in Boston, first of its kind, in the Ritz-Carlton. They only had one other one, and it was in New York. And it was this very high-end gym. And I was not in that world, that's for sure. At 22, I'm like, what is all this? Who are all these people? I didn't know they existed. And this is amazing. And I was working with 30s and 40s and 50-year-olds. And I'm 22. And when you're 22, you don't even know what a 50-year-old is, right? It's like who's 50-something and working, and I'm working alongside them. And it was so great for me because I was like, oh, This career has longevity. This career can be done by X, Y, and Z. And oh, wow, these people have so much more knowledge and experience than me. I get to learn from them. This is great. I've always loved learning from others. So I've had confidence in what I know, but I'm also very humble to know what I don't know. And so I ask a lot of questions. So I learned so much, and I worked there for about 2 to 3 years before one day a week I started to go off on my own. And then after that, it became 3 days. And then after that, I left fully. And then I never looked back, but I learned so much. Okay, so that was phase 1. Phase 2, finally meet my mentor, finally heal, go back to school, get my degree as a doctor of naturopathy, do my internships, which I'll talk about that another time, but I was only able to do that really because I had a successful practice before that. Like that allowed me to go back to school. And so that was great, right? Because I had a team of, I think 7 or 8 people at the time, which was amazing. And I could work early mornings. But anyway, that's a story for another day. And then after that though, what do? I don't know what I don't know, right? Like that's a big thing with me. I never know. I don't know the right questions because I don't know what I don't know. And so I begin to work with a colleague of mine, a colleague that I knew while I was doing strength and conditioning, personal training, body transformation, personal training, all those things, nutrition, right? And so there's 2 ways to do this. You could work for a wellness center or you can rent an office in that wellness center. So I work in this wellness center, and it was 2 chiropractors, I've shared this before, 2 massage therapists, 2 acupuncturists. So great practice. Basically, acupuncturists alternated with an office, different schedules, and the massage therapist alternated an office. The 2 chiropractors, it was their practice. They had their own offices. Then they rented out the others. Now, I needed a quiet place to study for my boards, and I wanted to start seeing clients part-time. That's exactly what I did. So how did this work? Well, I had 2 chiropractors there, 2 acupuncturists, 2 massage therapists. The first thing I needed to do was give them a reason why I might be a good fit for their practice. And here's what I did. I asked and I found out where they could potentially grow in terms of their practice, what they did really well, how I would not be competitive in that way, how I might be able to add another level of prestige and service to their practice. And every business owner is worried about, at the end of the day, how to keep the lights on, pay their rent, earn more revenue. And that includes virtual practices as well. So keep in mind, just because you run a virtual business doesn't mean that it's no cost to it. You still pay for a website, pay for web edits, pay for domain hosting, pay for an email server. Like you still pay for things, right? It's not that you don't. It's not completely free. It's just, yes, it's far less. When I opened up my wellness center, which I'll get to in a moment, it costs a lot of money, right? There's no doubt about that. But again, it's everybody's path, and I had my path, and I'm very happy with that path. But the path to owning my own center would not have happened if I had not worked for this wellness center. And the reason is I got to learn all of the things I didn't know while adding value to this wellness center. So let me give you an example. How can you help? All right. You can say you are a certified health coach, an integrative health practitioner who's able to help a client with diet and exercise and stress reduction and toxin removal and sleep protocols and emotional-based balance, scientifically backed supplements, and success mindset. So that's the whole de-stress protocol. What does that mean? Well, an acupuncture client could have a high level of stress, trouble sleeping, right? Same with a chiropractor, same with a massage therapist, right? All of those clients may have issues. Estheticians, right? I talk about this all the time. Great career for an esthetician to also become an IHP. Why? Clients come in every single week. They have acnetic-based skin acne, right? And yes, they're doing a lot topically, but what if they have food sensitivities? What if they're consuming dairy and eggs and those are causing acne? You can run a food sensitivity test, like all these great things. So here's what I did. I'm going to cut to the chase. I worked with every single one of those six practitioners for free. That's what I offered. They paid for the labs, which I'll get to in a second, but I offered my service for free. That's what you really need to do. Because you're like, oh, I don't give away my service for free. Totally get it. But these 6 people needed to know what it is that I did And it was I did an hour and a half for each one of them. So what is that? 9 hours? It was 9 hours of my time for 6 people. It's a lot of time and follow-ups. But those 6 people led to all the referrals as to how I started my practice, right? Inside of the wellness center. Now, the wellness center is either going to charge you rent, may not want to do that, or a percentage of your sales, which is probably what you want to do. I've done both, okay? So in personal training, done that, and then others as well. What's the percentage? 30 to 50% typically. If you pay less than 30%, wow, you're doing really well. 30 to 50%, that's typically it. And then how is that helpful to the wellness center? Well, now they have a certified health coach on staff and they can share their clients with you. Why would they share their clients with you? Well, you're not doing chiropractic. You're not doing acupuncture. You're not doing massage. You're not an esthetician. You're not competing in those ways. And you're not talking negatively, of course, about the other practitioners. So what are you doing? You're adding a complimentary service, which is going to allow the other practitioners to get their clients even better results. That's what it's all about. So now the chiropractor says, hey, have you met, Sally? She's able to run an inflammation test with you, a food sensitivity test with you, a heavy metals test with you, a hormones test with you. Wow, I didn't know that. So then they send them to you. And now, again, IHP2s are in an even better position because an IHP2 not only can help their clients with lifestyle modification, which, by the way, massage therapists are not trained to do, acupuncturists mildly trained to do, depends on further certifications besides their licensing, and chiropractors not necessarily trained to do. Now, many chiropractors go on for additional education and can help with some of that, but not all. And so you're coming in with all of the lifestyle that you can help with follow-ups, and you can do functional medicine at-home lab testing. I did that for all 6 of the individuals, and they referred people to me. And guess what? As I started to get referrals from their clients, I then referred those people to them when appropriate, right? So that's what it's all about. Now, think about it. If I was charging $300 an hour and the wellness center was getting 30% because they were doing all the billing and charges for me, they got $100 every time I worked. And they got that without having to work. So if I did 10 sessions a week, how much money did they make? $1,000. What is that over the course of a month? $4,000. They're now making an extra $50,000 a month cash for not doing anything except referring current clients. Well, between 2 owners, that's an extra $2,000 a month, $25,000 each. Pretty phenomenal, right? And then if you offer nutritional supplements inside the wellness center that you could set up through your connections, then you might be able to split it with them, which would be great, right? Or it might be 70-30. They get 30% then again of the nutritional supplement sales. And anybody that comes direct as their clients, they would get maybe the reverse, 30-70. You would work out these things with them. So now they walk into this wellness center, it's even more prestigious. They see at-home lab tests. They see nutritional supplements and protocols. Pretty amazing, right? So it brings more prestige to the wellness center, and it brings additional services and revenue for the business owner, which is ultimately what a business owner is looking to create as well. Better service for the client, more retention, right? Because they're seeing now more people in the practice, and they are earning more revenue. Amazing. The same can happen for a functional medicine practice with a medical doctor or ND or a doctor running it, or a nurse practitioner. They all need help with their clients with lifestyle. Trust me, medical doctors are not trained on lifestyle. Even those that go through a lot of postdoctoral work, they don't. They're running blood work and then they're making recommendations based on that. But they would love a client because they're probably so busy, they need someone to follow up monthly with their clients. I do this in my own practice right now. I can tell you that this is really what practitioners do. My personal practice is very busy. I've been a practitioner for many, many years. I work with 1 new client a week, only 1. That's it. And it's not every week because oftentimes I have to travel, I speak, etc. Okay, so here's what I do though. The follow-ups are not with me. The follow-ups are with one of my health coaches. So they meet with me once for a deep dive. Then they meet with one of my health coaches every month after that as part of a 6-month program. So what I can tell you is this: there are many doctors and practitioners that are looking to do this. They need help, but they don't know who to turn to. You, as an integrative health practitioner, especially a level 2 or level 3, are going to be able to open up their practice to so much more. It may start off slowly, or they might hire you full time. We have so many IHPs that you don't know about that hire other IHPs. Some of those IHPs, though, will be actually speaking on a panel this coming October, and you won't want to miss that as well at our RHS-based event. So I could go on and on about this for days, but maybe we'll talk about the application process next if you'd like to apply to these places. But there are wellness centers. We're not talking about a couple hundred. We're not even talking about a couple thousand. We're talking about tens of thousands of wellness centers throughout the United States and Canada, Australia, like all over the world, Europe, that would love to have someone who can run functional medicine lab testing. Would love it. And then we'll talk about, maybe we'll talk about how to apply and negotiate that deal. So hopefully this is helpful. It kind of gives you one more way to think, just to bring it full circle. I took my boards, passed the boards. Thank you. I was so happy about that. And then I still stayed. I was there for 18 months. And then I left. My new wellness center was open, and I had 2 locations now in Boston, one for body transformation, one for functional medicine, integrative health, and it was a dream come true. Now, everything always begins to move, and then eventually, many years later, it went all virtual. But I'm telling you right now, this is a great way to do it. It really is. And you might end up working at this wellness center, loving it so much that why would you leave? You work with a great group of people. You make a great living. You don't necessarily think about your rent or anything like that. Could be a good way to do it. I'm not here again to tell you how to practice. I just want to be able to help you to practice the way that you want and serve more people while building a great career. Hopefully this was helpful. If you're not already an IHP, don't know what you're waiting for. Head on over to ihp.coach or integrativehealthpractitioner.org. Takes you to the same place. For all of today's show notes, head on over to ihp.coach/380. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the week. We'll talk with you soon.